Yo, what's up, guys? We have our first Speed Giants Keep Abyss Heart team, which is this team, which is not a team by me at all, actually. Credits go to, wait, I don't see his name right now, I can see it over here. Anacondych. Shout out to this guy for showing me this team. He had it on quite a bit less rune requirements than I have, and it still definitely did work. It wasn't as fast as mine is right now, but I will showcase his rune as well because most of the time I always get this question or the saying is like, yeah, but I cannot make this because I don't have the rune requirements to make this team. Well, this team was actually made by someone that had a lot less rune requirement than I have, and he made it work already, and it's pretty safe. It's not 100% safe, but it's pretty close to that. And the main reason for that is, do we still get 100%? No, we still, okay, if we had one extra turn in the wrong thing, we would have died there. It's not 100%, but it's pretty close to 99 right now. Like, I've seen one fail on it, and I've been running it for like 50 runs or so. Thing with this team is that it's super fast compared to all of the other teams. Like, all of the other teams, like, these are bad runs. Actual good runs of this are somewhat around 24 seconds. I think if you do less fill safeties, you can go towards 20 seconds on this team. And yeah, that's pretty fast. I didn't expect us to get any fast teams like this. At first, I tried some Galleon teams, but Galleon didn't really seem to want to do his skill. So yeah, I didn't really like the Galleon stuff. But at some point, I was like, okay, I see more people making it work in certain ways. If you have certain fail safes of Galleon being Vio, Galleon moving multiple times, having Deborah also being able to armor break, having a bunch of units that don't always need to do their skills but still can clear waves. So I actually do want to see a pretty fast run that is somewhat closer to like the 30 seconds. I had a 38.5 second average already, which is once again a lot faster than all of the other stuff that we've seen so far. So yeah, best rotation is that. Into this, everyone is using S1. We get an S2 and then an S3. A Galleon S3 once more into an S2. Too bad. If that doesn't happen, we still have this as potential cleanup, but we would have to have every armor break over there. In this case, just an S1 is fine. S2 is also fine. It can go for the procs. That's also totally fine. If this goes for an S2, did an S3, does a lot less damage than the S2. And then this one goes for 350k, and that it pretty much clears the boss totally instantly. So this is probably around 30 second-ish, 32 seconds. So yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. If the wave 2 went a lot better, you can easily see it go down to like 24 seconds. I think my fastest time is 24 right now. I think it can go faster than that. I think it would go 22-ish seconds so far. With this turn order of the Galleon moving double. I could make the Lyn or the Leia slightly fast. If I make the Leia slightly faster, she would, which she actually does double lap that already. But that is something that you could do extra. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of fail safes of backup armor break, backup armor breaks by more turns. Lyn doing way too much damage. You're also probably going to ask her already in the video saying like, okay, but I see 2 LD4s, I can't build this shit. Hold your horses. I will also tell what kind of replacements you have for those units. Are these teams going to be worse? Yes, otherwise I would be using that team if it was better. So the teams are all definitely going to be slightly worse, but the teams are still usable. Where to it's more of a speed team rather than at some point I was failing that much that I was just putting back in Leica because it was just failing too much. But this team actually seems like not failing that much at all. And yeah, the Lyn in combination with the Deborah on a good set does so freaking much damage. Like, it's just like the HP bar goes from there to there. I was like, nice, nice. I like that. Insane. And that was without attack buff. 320k without attack buff. That is a lot of stuff. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to talk about the replacement units, then I'm going to showcase the runes, and then I'm going to showcase the runes also of Anacondych, because showcasing his runes also show it that, hey, this team is usable without the crazy runes that I put to this team. Because, of course, I'm not going to put my half-ish second tier runes to this team if I make a speed clear video. I put my absolute best shit to this team, and then you're going to be looking at like, aha, that's a lot of nonsense that I cannot replicate. Exactly, that is my team. I'm not sure why that turn order was the other way around right now instead of the Lyn moving afterwards. Probably has something to do with Galleon not using S2 first. But Let's see, can we still clear it? Okay, my Lin is actually slightly too slow. Okay, I think that's a fail scenario that I have, where I have to make my Lin slightly faster for that turn order interaction to be better. So that's something that I have to fix. I have to make my Lin slightly faster in that case. If my Lin was slightly faster, that wouldn't have happened. So, talking about replacements. First replacement, well, we have 2 units that are not free to play, so let's talk about those. Galleon, I kind of say is free to play, everyone kind of has Galleon. But the Deborah and the Leia. Both cases can be replaced by actually the same units, which would be, you can replace it for Savannah, makes it slightly slower or quite a bit slower, but a lot safer. Mainly, I would say Deborah is replaceable by Savannah. You can replace both of them by a Veromos. You can replace both of them by a Mephisto. I think those 3 units, also if you do have a Deborah, you can still say like, okay, I don't want to put in the Savannah, I want to put in a Veromos. Those 3 units are kind of the replacements. Can you replace Veromos with Akamir, can you replace Akamir with Veromos? I would say no. And the reason I say no is because Akamir is a lot better in the wave stages. Akamir is gonna drag you through the waves because his S3 also is very good AoE damage. If Galleon goes in S3, Akamir goes S3, this whole wave is dead. If Veromos goes S2, maybe as well, but still, I would recommend you to keep in an Akamir. Maybe, like, I had to Devilmon an Akamir for this. Maybe not everyone wants to do it. But I feel like if people are actually going to start farming this a lot more, then probably people will skill up their Akamir for it at some point. So those are kind of the replacements. So Veromos, Savannah, and what was the other one that I mentioned? Mephisto. I think those 3 are the best replacements for the units here. And I have to keep in mind that I have to make my Lin slightly bit faster in a second. And then probably also have to make my Akamir slightly faster in a second. So, okay, let's actually look at the runes from this thing over here, because that's easier to have all of the units there. In this case, can we actually get some nice rotation? 200. The thing is, Lin AI is actually pretty bad. She often shoots an S1 or an S2, but her S1, S2, and S3 all have damage proportional to enemy max HP, which makes it just a very fine, solid unit right there. And that is the main reason that we use a Lin and we don't use a Luna. Also, Luna has a 4-turn cooldown, where this thing has a lower cooldown. But these 2 runs were slightly slower than normal, but I've seen this average like 38 seconds. And then we can go into the replays, and we can actually say like, okay, what are the runes? Runes are looking, okay, let's start off with the simple things first. Simple things first, Galleon is a plus 167, Vio, and a fight set, 100 crit rate, 85 accuracy. Is this too easy? It's not that easy, but I think if you use a Galleon with a Tiana in your siege offense, it's not bad to build a Galleon something similar like this. The other unit that's somewhat replicatable is the Deborah. I go for a triple fight set. You could go for double fight something. Technically, you don't need all of these fights that much. It's more about the crit damage from the Akamir and from the Lin, rather than a lot of fight sets, how it is in other dungeons. So if you go double fight or even single fight with others, with some other set, it's totally fine. The speed tuning is also, we have the Galleon moving, Lin moving, Deborah moving, Akamir, and then the Lin. But yeah, in this case, also for artifacts damage on water kind of stuff. She does a decent amount of damage to the waves as well. Then we have the Akamir, and Akamir is rocking a 283 crit damage set on a 2.1k attack set. Pretty casual, right? And then we have 16 over there. It's not even that great. This one is pretty, this one is decent. This one is not bad. But this one could be better. This is pretty much blue and a half, or not even blue. So yeah, the crit damage on this one is pretty nasty. Then we have the Lin. Once again, don't click the video away right away. I'm going to show you that you can do this on a lot less rune quality as well. Don't click it away yet. So then we have the Lin. The Lin is actually, you want to build in some HP and some defense. I went in the rune optimize. I went for 62k effective HP without the artifacts that are actually HP and defense as well. You definitely want to put HP and defense in the artifacts, because it's just a lot easier to get rather than in the stats. HP is doable to get, but defense is that low base that you definitely want to have that in there. Even though we have that, we still go attack on both sides over here. But you want some runes that you see like, okay, we have some HP in all of those slots. You don't want to go pure damage because you want to be able to survive at least one hit. So yeah, this is a 271 on a 100 crit rate. This one has to be slightly bit faster. This one is actually fine in tune, but I think I would have to make this about like 10-ish speed faster. So it would go, yeah, it would look probably lower on the crit damage by just a little bit. But I had the 269 set before on like a plus 50 speed, so shouldn't eat it that much, I guess, I hope, I pray. So yeah, that's pretty much that for the whole team. Those are the runes. As I was saying, I'm going to show you the runes on a slightly easier set. Maybe you still say for this, like, hey, I cannot build this. Yeah, these are not like, it's not an easy dungeon, so these are not easy runes. But these are the runes from Anacondych. That's the one that actually gave me the team and gave me the ideas about it. And we can see here that he's rocking a 212. That's a lot less than my 270. The attack is also quite a bit less, but these are still pretty fine runes. They're very nice runes, but they're not like crazy 270 crit damage runes. Same for the Akamamir, you don't need a 280, you also don't need 100 crit rate. You could go for the 100 crit rate to clear the crystals better, but I think it's not really needed that much. He also doesn't have skill ups on Akamamir, that's a pretty interesting point as well. You don't need it apparently. I would recommend to do it. It's 15 devil ones, it's quite some, but still I kind of recommend to do it. But yeah, this is a lot less crit damage. Same for this one. This one is actually pretty nice set, because if you want to replicate this is actually pretty solid set for double fight. There is will in there, of course, so that makes it somewhat easier because you probably have better will runes than fight runes. But this is pretty nice. We have this one. This Leia is pretty good as well. Wait, did I actually show my Leia? Wait, did I show my Leia? I didn't show my Leia yet. So my Leia is close to 2k and then 140 and then 190. His is actually pretty similar to its, well, 30 less crit damage, a bit more speed. But that's a pretty nice one as well. But that Deborah is very nice rune, and this Galleon, I kind of like it more on a crit rate slot 4, and then remove the crit damage, put the crit damage in your artifact. But these are pretty solid runes throughout, and this is a 46.7 or 46 second average for him, which is a very good time, definitely as well. He's running around between like 45, 46. He showed me a few of those. So the rune quality is a lot lower than what I showcased in my dungeon, and it's still running incredibly fast. So this is definitely something, if you have the units, you can try out. If you do not have the units, find the replacement once again in the Savannas, the Veramos, and the Mephisto. I didn't test those teams specifically, so I might... Well, I think with Savannah, that's just a very safe option. But yeah, once again, Deborah and Leia, they're just insanely good. If you don't have those, it's the Veramos, it's the Savannah, and it's the Mephisto. And yeah, if you say you don't have those as well, yeah, then sucks to be you. Those units are somewhat more free-to-play-ish. Well, let's say, how can you make this team full free-to-play? Veramos for sure, but you would need Veramos plus something else, because the other units, maybe not everyone has as well. I'm not entirely sure yet. If I have a better free-to-play option, I am probably going to post it. Unless you're a Lucifer owner. Yeah, I've also got the question a few times. Can you replace X with Lucifer? Any X can be replaced with Lucifer. Yes, definitely, 100%. But yeah, if you go Veramos plus one other free-to-play options, or maybe not that many good options, I would definitely look into something that probably pushes back attack bar or give you some safety mechanics. But you can technically... Yeah, if you put Veramos in here on high damage as well, that can clear waves, I think you can get away with it, and then try to add in a safety mechanic in this slot, and it will be pretty decent. But once again, insane team. Thanks for showcasing it to me, and I'll probably, based on this team, will start crafting my next team as well, seeing if I can maybe make some improvements here and there. I think the team itself is pretty solid. Like, in general, I don't really see any too much changes to it. I do have a change in mind, but those are too much dependent on perfect AI that I don't think it will work as well. Because if the team just doesn't go for perfect AI, it's not that great. And I can kind of spoiler what it is. It's looking into the Wind Ezio in combination with a Luna. I think those two have quite some potential to do this as well. Because if you perfect AI on the boss, it's pretty nice. However, if the boss countered before your Luna moved, Luna doesn't have max HP and therefore doesn't always use his 3. Which is quite a bit worse. Someone in chat is also asking, how is Naomi compared to Lin? Pretty bad. And there's one main reason for that, and that's reason solely. And that's also the reason why you don't have to focus on a lot of, attack. You mainly want to focus on a lot of crit damage. And that is that this boss is mainly killed by proportional to enemy max HP. So the enemy max HP damage dealers, those are the damage dealers that really work in Abyss hard. So definitely aim for those. Don't aim for the things where, like, normally you have quite a bunch of units that also drop dots, and then you do more damage according to more debuffs. That helps out with like a Crow, with a Naomi, with those kind of units, but that doesn't necessarily work. Sigmarus is actually, yeah, if you want to if you want to full free to play this, you can put Sigmarus and Pharamos, and then the other units. So you remove the Leia and the Deborah, but then the Leia and the Deborah, whatever. You remove them for Pharamos, Sigmarus. I think you can probably make a speed team on that as well if you throw good enough runes at it. Either how, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Seiishizo here, and subscribe and like if you haven't yet. See you, boys.